Good evening, Asia Pacific, good afternoon, Europe, and good morning, America. Welcome to the Genesis Expo, our monthly showcase on our low-code application platform. I'm Felipe Oliveira, Head of Sales and Marketing, and I'm delighted you can join us as we share with you how the Genesis Lcap is transforming financial market IT delivery. I'm joined today by two special guests, Olivia Vinden, Director and Head of FinTech and Innovation at Alpha FMC, and Dave Nathan, Associate Director at Alpha FMC, discussing asset managers and the business and tech drivers setting their 2021 strategy, particularly as they enter budgeting season. We open our show with an update from CEO and co-founder Stephen Murphy on the exciting developments at Genesis and an update from across the market. Our colleague José Pozo, Head of Core Development, joins from London with an update on the Genesis Lcap platform and how we are reducing IT development times by 80%. And we close the session with James Ferguson, Head of New Business Development, and a demo of a Genesis Wealth Management application that is a fully automated and audited workflow for financial advisors, traders, operations, and compliance teams. We conclude the show with a live audience Q&A. Financial market firms face a challenging and constantly changing environment. We help firms adapt, innovate, and transform their business and operating models, making it possible to do more with less code in less time. To get us underway, I would like to hand over to Stephen Murphy for a company update.
Thanks, Felipe, and welcome everyone to the third Genesis Low Code Expo. As always, the team, Genesis, and I personally really appreciate everyone taking the time out for the event today. We know everyone is extremely busy, closing out a challenging 2020, while also planning for 2021. So whether you're watching this live or the recorded version of the Expo, we really appreciate you joining us and sharing with you the exciting news on the low-code revolution that is happening in the financial markets. There are three areas of news I would like to cover. Firstly, a quick Genesis company update. Secondly, explain the breadth of use cases that Genesis and our low-code application platform can be used for. And finally, discuss the Genesis Application Library. The Genesis Application Library is a range of applications built specifically for the financial markets, ranging from wealth management, treasury, credit insurance, through to position management, post-trade allocations and confirmations. All of these applications have been built in partnership with our clients, are in production, and solve real business needs. So to kick off with the company updates, we've had a number of new hires joining Genesis. I'm excited to have Martin Schreiber, where he's going to lead our top global strategic accounts, as well as growth opportunities in the hedge fund and prime broker space. Martin was most recently Global Head of Product Strategy and Sales at SSS and C Advent. So lots of great experience and a variety of leadership skills he brings to Genesis. Martin is a very relevant hire in the context of today's Low Code Expo with our partners over at Alpha FMC. As some of you may know, we have a real-time portfolio margin application in the Genesis Application Library. This was built using a variety of business components, including our very own Advent Geneva integration. There is a lot of news around no-code and low-code across every industry in the world right now. We continue to make significant growth on our platform. Low-code innovation is transforming IT delivery. We built the Genesis platform from the ground up, specifically for financial markets, initially focused on the most complex use cases, and we broadened that and the platform to support the more simpler use cases, so that we knew that Genesis was truly an enterprise solution for the entire organization. We have some exciting news to share with you in the coming weeks that validates Genesis as the leading only low-code platform built for the range of all possible use cases within the financial markets. So now let's discuss the breadth of use cases of the Genesis platform and how clients engage Genesis. This is really important because there's a lot of expectations around low-code and no-code in the technology world right now, both inside and outside of the financial markets industry. The Genesis approach is very different from all of the other no-code and low-code platform providers. Genesis is financial markets native. The platform uses the language and terminology specific to the industry, supporting the asset classes, instruments, and business rules needed for finance, with all of the APIs, integration, and connections which are critical for a low-code platform to truly support the financial markets again. Our clients choose the Genesis low-code platform because of the three key differentiators which I want to emphasize today. Firstly, the versatility of use case. From the most simple BPM, business process management, type use cases, all the way through to highly complex event and core system processing. Secondly, the range of clients. From new fintech startups building a complete and entire businesses on the Genesis platform, through to large global financial institutions implementing mission-critical core processing applications. And finally, that clients partner with us and build industry applications, knowing it's developed on the leading low-code application platform built again specifically for the financial markets industry. Our low-code technology opens up a world of innovation possibilities for your teams. Full-stack developers can go deeper, behind the scenes, while colleagues who are not computing engineers can use Genesis intuitive tooling to develop software to what we call a pro code standard. To conclude today, I want to share an update on the Genesis application library. We have a range of applications built on the Genesis low-code platform. As we saw in the first low-code Expo with ING, we partnered with ING to build a new application for credit insurance within the syndicated loans industry. In today's Expo, James Ferguson is going to demo applications we have in the wealth management and treasury trading space. All of these are part of the growing Genesis application library, which our clients know are built on the Genesis low-code platform. Hence, they are easy to integrate, enhance and support, and also extremely high-performant, resilient and truly scalable. To summarize everything, with the Genesis low-code platform, you can build your own applications for any type of use case, with at least 80% reduction in time to market and cost. And you also have a growing application library for the financial markets industry, built with a trusted partner. In the first low-code Expo, we spoke about end-user computing with ING. In the second event, we had Beaton, a new outsourced trading desk. And today we have the pleasure of our partners Alpha FMC, where we take a look at some of the opportunities and challenges within the buy-side part of our industry. As always, thanks for participating in the low-code Expo event today. We really appreciate the time you are taking for this event, and please enjoy. Back over to you, Felipe, in London.
Thank you, Stephen. Exciting times. If any audience members would like to chat with Stephen and the team on any of the items mentioned, please do get in touch. Also, if you have any questions, please submit them now in the on-screen form and we'll cover them on our live Q&A section. Now I would like to hand over to Jose Pozo on our upload section, discussing how our server-side components improve the development experience.
Thanks, Felipe, and everyone tuning in. My name is Jose, and I am the head of core development at Genesis. You have probably heard a lot about the Genesis low-code application platform by now, and all the wonderful things it can do. But I would like to give you some details about how our server-side components improve the development experience. Let us imagine we're building a new Genesis server application from scratch. A traditional approach for us would be to identify the necessary configuration settings and data schema. The data schema is especially important, as having a good design up front will increasingly simplify further development. And because we're a low-code application platform, we can reuse schemas from previously built components to accelerate development. But how can I reference this information in my new application in a quick and efficient manner? If we want to develop things quickly, we need an intelligent way of linking, discovering, and reusing this information in the most possible transparent way. For this purpose, we created the Genesis Platform Abstraction Layer, or GPAL. The GPAL initiative aims to provide a rich development experience by providing IntelliSense-like behavior with features like instant error feedback, code completion, inline documentation, automatic migration for deprecated features, and type safety. Succinct, standardized, and reusable layers which can be shared across the whole application to reduce code duplication. Rich functionality by default for each layer, whilst allowing for customization. And Java and Kotlin code compatibility in order to enable complex schema definitions and also schema extensibility. In order to reuse code as much as possible, GPAL is divided in 3 layers: system configuration, data schema, and server components. The system configuration definition layer provides all relevant information about the environment in which our application will run and forms the basis of the GPAL system. Any configuration settings defined at this level will be available in the next GPAL layers. The data schema layer is subdivided in 3 internal layers which build on top of each other: fields, tables, and views. A field definition contains information about the field name and type, but also its metadata attributes like default values. Consequently, a table definition will use the previously defined fields to create entities like trade or order and their relationships. And lastly, a view definition will be able to join and format data from these entities to provide relevant information. At this point, we can start using our tables and views in our low-code server components. This allows us to create fully featured server-side resources with minimal code, which are ready to be consumed by our front end. But as with many things in life, practice beats theory. Let me show you how quickly we can create a Genesis data server component, which is able to provide real-time information to a simple trade blotter. First of all, we need to define some relevant fields for the trade table, like ID, quantity, symbol, and price. As you can see, the GPAL definition helps me by providing suggestions and auto-completions. And moreover, it's able to find mistakes automatically. As an example, I will not be able to assign a text value to a numeric field. Additionally, I can access the full documentation of this GPAL definition and see sample configuration, so I can quickly learn on the go. Now that the trade fields are defined, it is time to create the trade table. We are now using the GPAL definition for tables, and the user experience changes accordingly. As you can see, the GPAL system is telling me that I need to define a primary key to define a table, so I will go ahead and do that. Each trade entity will be identified by its ID field, so this is the ideal candidate for the primary key. But now I have another error showing me that the ID field is not part of this table definition, so let us add it as well. Notice how all the fields I defined previously are available in this scope, so I can reference them quickly. It is important to remark that these fields could be defined in separate components and automatically imported without having to declare them first. So now we have a trade table defined in our system, and we need to expose a real-time feed of information to the front end. In order to do this, I need to create a Genesis data server GPAL definition. As this is a server component definition, I can now reference the table I have just created in the previous step. And that's it. This basic definition is enough to provide trade entities from our backend to our graphical interface. However, query definitions are rich in functionality and have many customization options. As an example, I will add a filter on this query so we will only show trades with high enough notional values. As you can see, the GPAL infrastructure allows for a very rapid implementation of server-side features. Abstraction is one of the core concepts of the Genesis Lcap. As you probably noticed, there was no mention of database types or specific database information in the GPAL examples. This was no mistake. Our database layer is fully abstracted from the development point of view. This means we can deploy the same Genesis application with different database backends depending on use cases, requirements, and preference. For example, we could use PostgreSQL as a database backend to perform real-time trade reconciliation for a small broker, but a much larger organization might need the horizontal scalability properties of a NoSQL database in order to keep up with the volumes. This has a few important implications. Our application development does not need to change to suit database requirements. You only need to learn Genesis database concepts once, and you can reuse them everywhere. Complexity of handling proprietary APIs for NoSQL databases is removed from the equation. And we have flexibility to add new database technology backends in order to stay up to date with the latest technology. Ultimately, it's a better fit for each customer application requirements. The other thing you have probably noticed as well is that in our query example, there was no mention of what protocol is used to transfer data between the backend and the front end. And there is also a good reason for it, as the communications protocol is also abstracted. This means that any defined backend resource is automatically reachable by our 3 main APIs: WebSocket, HTTP, and TCP socket, which uses a Genesis binary encoding. Given this feature, users of the Genesis Lcap can focus on business logic rather than non-functional implementation details. Performance is also key to financial software, and thanks to our layers of abstraction, we have a great degree of freedom to improve underperforming components, replace dated technology, or even add new compatibility layers for new technology. The Genesis Lcap was designed with performance in mind, and among many things it provides a fully asynchronous database and network APIs to provide the best possible input-output performance by running multiple operations at once using the reactive programming paradigm. It also provides a real-time database update queue API to avoid database polling and react to changes quickly. We have built-in code generation to create tailored logic to be used within the platform. Horizontal database scalability when using our NoSQL compatible layers, but also horizontal application scalability by using multiple Genesis microservices. We have reviewed GPAL and how it helps to create functionality very quickly. And we have also explained the benefits of the platform abstractions and the performance implications they bring. However, we have not shown any examples with regards to adding new data to a Genesis application. Let us see how we can implement an event handler to expose another type of server resource which will accept incoming trade messages and write their content to database. The first thing you will notice is that I have access to our generated code based on our previous GPAL definition. I can use a trade repository object in order to perform database changes and also define an event handler with a request type of trade and a default event reply type. Our metadata system will automatically expose this information about this event handler based on our trade schema and make it available in our automatic resource discovery mechanism. In this case, it will create a set of mandatory field checks for all the non-nullable fields. This validation happens transparently for every message received, and appropriate error messages are sent back to the front end. The implementation of the insert operation is straightforward due to the synergy between our reactive APIs for both database and network layer. I can just call the database insert method and then map the result into an event ACK message, which will be the reply to this operation, all in 2 lines of code. Thank you, Felipe, and everyone at home.
Thank you, Jose. Again, any audience members who would like to chat with Jose and the team, please do get in touch. Also, if you have any questions, please submit them on the form on screen and we'll cover them in our Q&A section. Next up, the download, the section of the show where I invite thought leaders to share with us their take on market trend, challenges, and opportunities. For this month's show, I'm delighted to be joined by my special guests, Olivia and Dave from Alpha FMC. Hello, folks. Welcome.
Hello.
Would you like to introduce Alpha FMC and your roles to our audience?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Felipe, and thank you to you and the Genesis team for having us. My name's Olivia Vinden. I'm one of the directors at Alpha Financial Markets Consulting. We're the global leading asset and wealth management specialist consultancy, and I head up our fintech and innovation practice. So it's my job to answer the question of what will our clients look like in the future and how can they use innovations like Lcap to get them there.
I'm Dave Nathan. I'm Associate Director at Alpha. I'm a specialist in the investment technology space, and I focus primarily on the kind of strategy, design and implementation of technology, and I've been working in this industry for 18 years.
Thank you for joining us. So today we're going to be talking about the buy side and asset managers and looking at the business and tech drivers in the industry into their 2021 planning, with a special focus as we enter budgeting season. There are 3 areas I'd like to focus on the conversation today to get started. That would be the investment side, the operations and IT delivery. So I'm going to turn to you first, Dave. Would you be able to just take me through kind of what are some of the key challenges and how low-code innovation is helping transform that and what Lcap means to the buy side and to the asset managers?
Absolutely, Felipe. For me, clients are grappling with 3 key challenges. So growing AUM, managing margin, and obviously regulatory challenge. Firstly, so growing AUM, winning clients, getting new assets through the door is about evolving and kind of providing an extension to the operating model to support new asset classes, new products and solutions. And supporting the countering the threat from passives, the support of ESG in terms of growth of the business, and building out solutions, broadening capabilities in those offerings, and ultimately delivering the best client experience through data-driven activity and insight to their clients. And the second challenge around maintaining margins and kind of controlling cost, delivering with scale, margin pressure and the increased scrutiny through value assessment, this paradigm shift that we've seen towards passives and ETFs. Lcap can't fix this trend, but it can certainly kind of counter the challenges that it presents. Scale and cost management, delivering enterprise agility through a flexible operating model is absolutely key. Plus, doing more with your existing footprint, will counter the threats to the margin erosion. And obviously then the regulatory challenge and client obligations. So MiFID II is a great example of something that really dominated the change agenda. It dominated budgets and resources and really kind of drove the activities of the asset management community. And we're likely to see the continuation of that through kind of ESG, the standards evolve in that space. And fund reporting, the different regions and formats that are needed, they continue to impact that agenda. And a kind of final point is that phenomenal growth we're seeing in the enterprise platform world, covering the tools that cover the majority of the value chain, so the 80%, if you will. But there remain areas across that operating model which are unique to a client's capability. And that's where we really see Lcap as a unique opportunity to kind of close that 20% gap and provide a strategic solution to the asset management community.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Dave. And it's astonishing to see the velocity of the changes across all these different pillars that affect, obviously, the buy side and the asset managers. So let me turn to Olivia now. Would you be able to talk us through maybe about giving us some specific examples of how low-code is helping transform these businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dave gave me a great jumping off point. So to dig into his points a bit more, the idea of getting AUM through the door, we often link that to what we call enterprise agility, what our head of digital and agile would call getting a concept to cash quickly. So if you have a client that's saying, I have got this particular requirement, but your existing operating model can't deliver on it, low-code offers a great option for delivering that in a cost-effective and quick-to-market way that allows you to beat the competition. The other thing that's, I think, really important to note is that sometimes firms can be very agile from an enterprise perspective, but that agility is really affecting the margins, as you said. And so what we really want to see is that delivery of these new ideas, but in a way that allows you to scale your revenue, but not scale your costs at the same time. When we think of that idea, we often call that operational alpha, how you can sort of save money on the operating model that you're working with. And when people think of automation within an asset manager, they're often thinking of RPA or robotics. We haven't found that to be particularly successful in an asset manager context because the volumes often aren't there, but low code can be deployed in these really bespoke processes to great effect. So I think that's really relevant from an operational alpha perspective. And then, the final point that you made, definitely around regulation, those sort of bespoke requirements in different geographies. Lcap can close that gap between your enterprise-wide platform and what you need to deliver in market. And often the tools available from vendors don't meet that. So, just to give a very specific example, we built a really detailed unit-linked pricing tool for a client that, you couldn't buy a tool to do that in the market, but we got them there very quickly with low code.
Excellent, thank you. And the whole concept of operational alpha, I think, is really interesting because a lot of the needs or a lot of the solutions and applications that actually our clients have come to us for have to do with precisely generating operational alpha, which has to do with integration and flexibility and scaling and all these kind of themes that we've just touched upon. So that's an excellent answer. Thank you, Olivia. So now just turning on that theme of how low-code innovation, how the technology brings something new to the table and how that links into the 2021 planning for asset managers. Could you maybe share a few thoughts and words on that topic?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, asset management and wealth management undergoing this huge digitization agenda. So almost every single function within an asset manager needs more technology than it used to. And asset managers don't tend to have full stack developers that are real sort of experts in cutting code end to end. We've also seen there's this huge war on talent and that bright young graduates coming out of computer science degrees want to go and work at Google or Facebook, not necessarily at asset managers. And so I think that war on talent coupled with this increased demand for technology and coding within asset managers is really a sort of great opportunity for Lcap, because you can deliver change and deliver requirements into your users' hands very quickly without needing those end-to-end full-stack developers.
Yeah, that's right. So an Lcap tool is a much faster, lower cost solution to deliver change. It comes out of the box with specific componentry that's needed by our market sector. So a good Lcap tool truly understands our language, securities, funds, transactions, trades, and has adapters for the market. So be they market data, fix, connected to DTCC, even to open source, Finos, OpenFin, and pre-built integrations to the kind of core applications that exist in our sector. And our industry really needs to be built in terms of supporting performance, so supporting large volumes of transactions, and being high performant to the end users, gives them a good user experience across the tool.
Yeah, and performance is one aspect of it, but the other is risk. And as an industry, we've just got this huge reliance on what we call end-user computing, but really is just Excel and VBAs often. And a huge amount of the industry is focused on processes which are sort of resident in those kind of technologies. And what low-code allows you is that flexibility of delivery. So, techie business users can deliver it in the way that they could with Excel VBA, but it's a much more controlled environment and de-risks those processes, which were really critical to the models of our clients.
And then for me is just supporting the scale of business again, that having an EUC, something built in Excel with VBA, doesn't create scale across the business, whereas Lcap offers a much more kind of centralized strategic solution.
That's excellent. It's actually interesting, one of the points you touched upon, which is the industry-specific componentry and some of those things which actually, I have a saying that I like to sometimes share, which is, not all Lcaps are born equal. Obviously, I'm going to be waving the Genesis flag as the Lcap that has been built bottom up for financial markets. But all of these themes that you're talking about is a lot of the things that we see come through. And actually, EUC is a big area of focus for Genesis. And we've been helping a lot of clients on that, both the more simple use cases of business process management, as you've described, Olivia, but also the more complex, which require more complicated performance or low latency, high throughput, or some of the other componentries specific to the financial markets industry. So that is brilliant. Thank you so much for that explanation. So I'd like to turn back to you now and actually ask you. We've kind of touched upon a lot of different themes around investment, operations, IT delivery, Lcap, industry being ripe for change. But if you want the audience to take one thing away from today's session, what would that be?
Well, I guess my key message would be that the digitization agenda is not slowing down. It impacts every aspect of our clients' operating models, and the demand for technologists and for more delivery is just going to keep increasing. And so I think look at low-code. It offers a great solution to some of those problems that you might be facing. And we only scratched the surface of the topic here today, but we'd love to continue the conversations with the audience in a bit more detail. So please reach out to me or Dave or the Genesis team, for you, Felipe. We'd love to talk about it a bit more.
I'd echo that. 2021 budgets are going to be extremely tight given the market volatility we've seen this year, and only really the kind of early green shoots of recovery that are evident. And we believe that investment in Lcap should be a key consideration for next year's strategic plans or beyond. The key drivers of Lcap in terms of the business case for me are pretty straightforward. Appetite and demand for kind of change delivered through a scalable platform and solution, a fast time to market, high quality delivery, meeting those kind of key user requirements, and cloud-based deployment, software as a service. For me, the future is low-code innovation.
Excellent. Olivia and Dave, thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And for the audience, if you'd like to get more information or get in touch with Alpha FMC, please visit their website at alphafmc.com, or please do get in touch with Genesis, and we'll be more than happy to introduce you to Alpha FMC. I would now like to hand over to my colleague James Ferguson for a demo of the Genesis Wealth Management application and its integration capability.
Thanks, Felipe, and hello everyone. My name's James Ferguson, and I'm Head of New Business Development at Genesis. I'm part of a global team responsible for managing our client base and expanding Genesis's footprint into new markets. Our guests on today's Expo Alpha FMC are working with Genesis to help asset and wealth management firms deliver innovation much faster and at a fraction of the cost. As many of you may have already heard, the Genesis Low-Code Application Platform, or LCAP, has been built from the ground up to support the requirements of financial markets firms. The Genesis LCAP is highly performant, resilient, robust, secure, and scalable. But what else is it about the Genesis LCAP that makes it specialized for financial markets applications? And how do you get all of this with an 80% faster time to market? I'll be discussing the answers to these questions in today's in-action session. There are three main aspects that I'll be touching on: modern and legacy integrations, our business component library, and our industry adapters. By the end of this session, I hope you'll see how the Genesis LCAP is changing the future of financial market application development and redefining how firms re-engineer and automate their business processes. Many legacy systems are simply too large and deeply rooted to replace, so being able to integrate with them is critical for firms to deliver new services and extend their capabilities. From the outset, the Genesis Low-Code platform was designed at its core to be easy to integrate into a client's internal infrastructure. The trend in technology today, and ever more so within the financial markets, is no longer to have one monolithic solution to do everything for you, but to carefully select and build your technology stack using applications that are designed to solve specific use cases. Therefore, one of the most crucial aspects of the Genesis platform is its innate ability to integrate into an existing technology stack as seamlessly as possible. The Genesis LCAP is packed with industry and technical integrations and can consume data from external sources in batch or in real time via FIX, MQ, SFTP, to name a few. Using the Genesis platform's relational database connectors, clients can enrich their data directly from a golden source database, or they can persist data from their Genesis application into one or more existing SQL databases. Clients can achieve STP by having their Genesis application connect with downstream external and third-party systems. They can use the very same methods for receiving data like MQ or FIX, or they can stream data using Apache Kafka. And if they want to retrieve data on the fly, they can even query each Genesis microservice directly and securely using RESTful APIs provided right out of the box. These are just a fraction of the integrations available that the Genesis LCAP currently supports, and we're continually expanding with new message protocols and adapters. So if you need an integration that we don't yet have, then we're always happy to look at extending our library to support it. So, what business components are there in the platform? The Genesis platform provides a common data model to jumpstart new application development. This includes business data structures for trades, orders, positions, and allocations, as well as reference data structures for exchanges, countries, and instruments. It also supports a wide array of financial instruments, including equities, funds, fixed income, FX, derivatives, and many more. Not only does the Genesis platform provide these underlying data structures out of the box, but it also comes with the components you need to view and manage that data in the form of event handlers, data server queries, and request replies. All of this is completely customizable, so you can tune it to your needs. As well as common data structures and functionality, the Genesis platform also has a large repertoire of pre-built business functions and plugins that can easily be installed into your applications, including pre-built portfolio modeling for wealth managers, fund modeling for asset managers, fee and charge calculators that we plug into middle office trading workflows, real-time risk calculation plugins for hedge funds and prime brokerages. Within the Genesis platform, there are a number of adapters that come out of the box as well. We have a growing number of market data and reference data adapters, including Refinitiv, Active, Exergy, and Morningstar. We have over 50 industry adapters with financial vendors, such as Murex over MXML, Bloomberg TOMS or AIM over FIX or MQ, Fidessa over Open Access, Calypso over XML, Advent Geneva via SFTP, DTCC CTM platform, where we integrate with their services to create a streamlined settlement process from Genesis's trade allocation module. Sending and receiving information from custodians such as Pershing or BNP Paribas, presenting this data integrated into a Genesis application, giving a much slicker user experience. Integration with trading technologies via FIX, where we handle all the middle office workflow for futures and options. Also, we've connected with Symphony's secure messaging platform to push notifications. Genesis is a member of the Finos community, the FinTech Open Source Foundation for Financial Markets. Their mission is faster adoption of open source, open standards, and collaborative dev practices, and by us being members, we are helping to contribute to the way the market builds applications. Alongside Finos, we're also members of the FIX community, so we have our finger on the pulse for new initiatives affecting the entire market. Now, To illustrate these integration capabilities, let's dive into Genesis's wealth management offering, which has a number of applications we were originally commissioned to build for one of the largest investment houses in Latin America. The client had very manual processes where internal quoting between financial advisors and trading desks was all done over the phone, email, or Bloomberg chat. Client positions were held in multiple external sources, and generating new proposals to win business was not efficient. This meant that both operational risk and operational cost were high, and it was stopping them from scaling their business. The client worked with Genesis, and the platform was used to build a number of bespoke applications with multiple integration points that provide a fully automated and audited workflow for their financial advisors, traders, operations, and compliance teams. Let's start with the Genesis Position Keeping System, PKS, which is central to the workflow across the quoting, order generation, and portfolio tools. In terms of integrations, there are multiple. The Position Keeping System is connected to Pershing's overnight feed. It looks at RJ O'Brien, Interactive Brokers, bringing all those positions into one place, consolidated by counterparty or viewable as raw data. Here, we're using AWS S3 buckets like FTP, where a folder is created to receive files securely. You also have the ability to manually upload positions from an internal position keeping system or from an alternative custodian using a CSV file directly through the GUI. The next part of the flow is the Portfolio Proposal tool. PPT is a productivity tool that allows wealth management financial advisors and private bankers to quickly tailor investment portfolios for new prospects or to rebalance existing client portfolios based on their current positions. Management and strategic investment teams can define portfolio structures with specific risk profiles and investment ranges. These templates make it quick to generate a new proposal. The portfolio composition can be visualized in a chart, so it's quick and easy for the financial advisor to understand the breakdown, and then make modifications to the portfolio allocation according to the client's preference, or send as it is. In terms of data integration, the counterparty reference data here is also imported using AWS S3 buckets. Once the portfolio is ready to send, the financial advisor can download it, which generates a PDF document with the company's standard background information, logos and styling, and contains all the proposed investment information, comparing the performances between the current positions in the client's portfolio with the proposed portfolio. Instrument and benchmark performance is uploaded via the GUI and feeds into the UI and analysis within the PDF. The second integration point is with email, ready to send the proposal to the client. If the proposal is accepted, the relevant orders can be generated using the platform's trading tools, which brings us on to the next part of the workflow. AQS is a multi-asset automated quoting system, supporting RFQ and RFS business flows from initial quote capture through to pricing, execution, and trade booking. A financial advisor can request a quote for any fixed income, CD, fund, or structured note. Once a client is selected within the ticket, it populates the client's start of day holdings and their client tier, which automatically sets the default charge type, whether it's commission or spread. The trading desk receives the request. They can assign it to a trader and provide an indicative or firm price to be accepted or rejected. Crucially, a full audit trail with all the necessary timestamps is captured for compliance requirements. Once the financial advisor accepts the price and volume given by the trader on the quote request, it drops into the trade blotter and feeds downstream into Bloomberg TOMS via FIX for trade reporting. It can also feed a books and records system, whether that's Pershing or any other custodian. Soon to be released is a new trading flow for equities and options, where financial advisors will be able to send orders directly into the market for execution via an OMS. The first use case will be connecting to the Trafix OMS. The second trading workflow within AQS is order entry via the internal distribution component. This enables financial advisors to see what inventory the traders are currently holding and from which they can generate an order using the buy and sell buttons. Again, populating the trade ticket with all the necessary client details, charge type, and instructions prior to sending. The platform has built-in error prevention, which reduces operational risk from fat finger mistakes. The trader's positions and quote pricing model are consumed from an external pricing source, which is pushed into the platform periodically using an Excel macro. Again, the order activity is all captured within a separate blotter and audit table to keep compliance teams happy, with all events timestamped, ready to be reconstructed at a later date should it be necessary. Some additional information to know about the platform. The non-functional aspects of the application are taken care of within the microservices architecture. You can view a list of the microservices and their related status in order to diagnose any issues with links to other Genesis DevOps tools. The Genesis platform has a highly granular permissioning module, which is a key security feature within all of our applications. When a new user is onboarded, the administrator assigns the user to a profile, and the profile is pre-assigned to a group. Every user will have a set of permissions associated with the types of data they can see, but also the operations they can perform, right down to the row and column level. So in this case, it ensures that people in operations can't access the trading tools, or that a trader can't see an advisor's commission charge, for example. The application has a completely free layout, launching components with ease to resize and reposition. Data fields within tables can be customized, and the user can save their entire layout. That concludes the demo, so let's recap. Why was Genesis the right choice here? The client had a number of requirements for which there was no off-the-shelf product. Their existing vendors weren't in a position to extend their product capabilities. The development work would have been extensive and costly to do internally with complex integrations. And the client needed to react quickly as their business was being held back. By choosing Genesis, they were delivered multiple bespoke applications, each within a matter of weeks, and now have an agile technology partner to continue their digital transformation journey. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, James. If you'd like a tailored demo of the Genesis Wealth Management application, please do get in touch anytime. Before we head over to the live Q&A, I would like to thank you for joining our Expo, our monthly update on the Genesis Lcap and how we are transforming IT delivery. Check out our previous show with Dan Shepard, CEO of Beaton Financial, buy-side sophistication, increased regulatory oversight, and a demo of the Smart Broker Router.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. I hope you're enjoying this month's Expo. I'm here again joined by my special guests, Olivia and Dave. Hello, folks.
Hi there.
So now we're down to the Q&A section of the Expo, and I'd like to go through the first question now that came in, and the question is, are you integrating no-code, low-code, natural language generation, NLG, into your tool sets? I mean for automation, written narratives on structured data, research, P&Ls, explains, credit reports. So Olivia, Dave, if you don't mind, I'll take that one because it's pertaining to the Genesis technology. And that's a great question and something that we'll be demonstrating in upcoming low-code expos. And the answer is yes, we are already using NLGs within our Genesis low-code platform. Our first implementation of this was with a wealth management client who required integration to Alexa for interactive verbal communication, as well as interactive chatbot for their clients to discover research on their current investments, arrange meetings with their financial advisors through to their daily P&Ls. So thank you very much. That's an excellent question. Let me go to the next question. Next question is, what is the opportunity cost of operational alpha to an asset manager, and why is low-code the better solution? So I'd like to turn to you, Olivia, for that one. Would you mind answering that question for us?
Yeah, so I think it's often quite hard for our clients to know how the opportunity cost is being lost in a way, because they may be just relying on systems like Excel or others for these kind of processes. So they might not see leaked human hours being wasted or increased risks in their operating model. And low-code obviously offers a great solution to many of those respects. But there's also an extra point which I think is really important, which is by using applications like low-code, you start to really access a lot better MI about your processes, so you can start to then make proper quality judgments about where things are failing or where things are taking a long time, because for the first time the process is tracked end to end by something that can be quantified. So I think it's really putting great insights about processes into the hands of decision makers.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Olivia. So let me turn to you, Dave, for the next question. So the question is, the digitization agenda is undeniably accelerating. How should CTOs approach budgeting for low code? Should it be budgeted as an enterprise solution from the start?
Yeah, sure. It's a great question, Felipe. So Lcap is a low-cost solution. It costs far less than some of the other enterprise tools. And I think it's very much a prioritization question. So really understanding the business need, the business case, and understanding, is this a tactical fit, or are you trying to build out strategically? So kind of in short, summaries that really understanding the need first, and then kind of then understanding then the business case or the kind of budgetary driver to deliver it. But it can be kind of all things to all people from our perspective.
That's fantastic, Dave. And if you allow me just to add, that's where I think the great partnership from a firm like Alpha FMC and Genesis come together really well, relying on their expertise as well in terms of helping guide clients in that journey. So thank you, Dave. So let me turn back to you, Olivia. So the next question coming in through the audience is, one of my fund's biggest pain points are back and middle office teams dealing with trade failures due to errors from processes and files as trade data is handled by numerous systems. How could low-code help address this problem?
Yeah, another great question. I think as an industry, we've done a great deal in the last 10 years to improve STP rates. They're up in the high 90s for most people, especially across common asset classes now. But where I think low code can have a really serious impact is that final 3%. So especially where we're rekeying between different platforms, and I'm thinking especially between, say, the fills over to the actual reads, and then looking at breaks, anything where there's a sort of manual process where humans are getting involved, fixing that at an application level with codified rules via Lcap can really have a great benefit and reduce operating costs and risk.
Thank you, Olivia. And if I may just add, actually, the Genesis application library has an excellent solution for middle office and back office. It's called the Trade Allocation Manager, and I'd welcome the person who asked the question to please visit our website, or please do get in touch. We'd love to talk to you more about that. And we have I think we have time for one more question, and I'm going to turn back to you, Dave. And the question is, can you elaborate on how low-code can offer asset managers an edge to grow their AUM and counter the threat from passives and ETFs?
Yeah, thanks, Felipe. Probably one of my favorite questions in the last couple of years. So I guess that for me, the first decision is, how are you looking to address that threat? Are you looking to compete? So, adding sort of passive ETFs, or kind of going down the very much more kind of active ETF route? Either way, low code can help. So it can support, your existing toolkit or your OMS, PMS type platform with PLF, PCF construction, which is common in the ETF operating model. Bring in basket execution for fixed income order management as well. So augmentation is key here, and the rapid delivery that the Lcap can provide. And Alpha has an ETF and indexing practice. We specialize in this area, and we'd be happy to continue that discussion if there's interest.
Fantastic. Thank you. And just to add to that as well, I think a great example as well is actually on the previous Expo we've had, where we've taken you through the Smart Broker Router, which is a fantastic example of how you can, tackle some of the challenges around best execution and obviously growing AUM, and linking to what you've described before as well, Olivia, in terms of operational alpha. So all excellent answers. Thank you so much. It was such a great pleasure to have both of you on the show. And again, if you want to learn more or get in touch with Alpha FMC, you can visit alphafmc.com, or please do get in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to make the introduction. I hope you enjoyed this month's show, and I look forward to seeing you next month at the next Expo. Thank you, and let's code less and do more.